Augustine is one of the church fathers who very clearly spoke about experience. And one of the reasons that the Confessions continues to be one of the widest read books in the history of the world is precisely because of Augustine's insight into human experience. He does a magnificent job of communicating both his own experience and what he lived, and how that experience can indeed be a window, if you will, an opening to discovering a personal experience of God in human life. A human experience, he says, is precisely where you can find God. The humanity of Augustine is not something which leads into a kind of personalized, egoistic, it's all about me and only me world, but quite the opposite. Because of Augustine's understanding of humanity, that human experience is actually the door that leads one into discovering who God is, and then a movement that Augustine speaks of in different areas about how going into God also leads you into solidarity with other people. And that second part of living in solidarity with others is perhaps a piece of the experience that is missing nowadays. So often today, in the highly individualistic society that people are growing up in, people think that my experience is the criteria. Am I happy or I'm not happy? What that might really be is, do I feel pleasure or don't I feel pleasure? Or do I feel selfish? And if I feel okay, then that's all that matters. And I think that certainly Augustine's experience says that, well, that isn't enough, and maybe what you're calling happiness isn't authentic happiness, because you're going to lose that too. And most things that people seem to describe as, well, why are you happy today, are things that are either very superficial or at best important for a short period of time, but that aren't going to last forever. And Augustine gives some insight into helping people understand that having an experience of God brings you far beyond yourself, and includes that dimension of what I would call human solidarity, of understanding the universal brotherhood, sisterhood of men and women, and that how an authentic experience of happiness has to include other people and has to include being concerned about other people. And those are elements that express a very important part of the gospel message. It's not just about me and my experience of God either. You might have people say, oh, I have an experience of God and I don't have to do anything else. Well, then that's probably not an authentic experience of God, because as we know from the Gospels, from the apostolic letters, if you love God, then you also need to be showing that by loving your neighbor. And that the two go hand in hand. And so experience can be a wonderful tool to help bring people into an experience of Christ in their lives, of God in their lives.